Okay, so today we're going to start by solving multi-step equations. Reminder of the steps that we've discussed previously in class. Step 1, we distribute. Remember, distribute means to multiply the number in front of the parentheses through the problem. Step 2, we combine like terms on separate sides. Step 3, we move variables to the left using addition or subtraction. Now, your teacher might have taught you differently if you're not Mrs. Doran's student, but if you are, we always move our x's or our y's to the left. Using that same idea, we move our constants or our numbers to the right using addition or subtraction. And last but not least, we get the variable by itself by using addition or subtraction. So we're going to try a series of 4 problems. The first problem is 5 times the quantity x minus 2 equals 3x plus 8. Now, step 1 to do this problem was to distribute. So we're going to take 5 times x, which is 5x, and we're going to take 5 times negative 2, which is negative 10, equals, I have 3x plus 8, and there is no distributing over there, so we just write 3x plus 8. Step 2, combine like terms. Well, I don't have x's or constants by themselves that need to be combined on the separate sides, so we go ahead to the next step. We start by moving our x's to the left, so it's a positive 3x, so the opposite of a positive 3x is a negative 3x. So I'm going to subtract 3x from both sides. When I subtract 3x from both sides, I get 2x minus 10 equals, the x's cancel out, and I end up with positive 8. The next step would be to move my constants or my numbers, so I'm going to add 10 to both sides because it says minus 10. When I add 10 to both sides, I get 2x equals 18. To get the x by itself, I'm then going to undo the multiplication by dividing by 2. That will cancel my times and divide by 2 out. And I am left with x equals 18 divided by 2, which is 9. Let's go on to another example. Example 2. Here in this problem, we see parentheses on both sides. So instead of just distributing on the left or just distributing on the right, we're going to distribute to both of them. Now, when there is a number in front, we normally distribute the number, but here's just a sign. But what that really means is negative 1. So we're going to take a negative 1 times 3x, which is negative 3x. And we're going to take a negative 1 times negative 5, and negative times negative is positive, so it's positive 5, equals, now I repeat the process on my right, 5 times x is 5x, and then 5 times 13, let's see, 13 times 5, we get 5, carrier 1, so 65. But since it's a positive times a negative, it's going to be a negative 65. I look to see if I can combine like terms, which I can't, so now I'm going to start by moving my x's over. So I move my x's, subtract 5x, negative 3 minus 5 more is negative 8x, plus 5 equals, the 5x minus 5x cancel, and I get negative 65. I subtract 5 from both sides because I'm moving my constant, and I get negative 8x equals a negative 70. Now 8 doesn't go into 7 evenly, so when we divide by that negative 8, we got to remember a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and we're actually going to have to take 70 divided by 8. Now 8 goes into 70 8 times, which is 64. I subtract and I get 6, so I have 8 remainder 6. Well, 8 remainder 6 means 8 whole and 6 over 8. But Mrs. Doran, that will actually simplify. Oh, yes, it will. X equals 8. 6 over 8 simplifies to 3 over 4. So my answer is 8 3/4. We've done 2 examples. We've done where we distributed on the left. We've done where we distributed on both sides. So the next problem that we're going to do is where we're going to just double distribute on the left and then combine with what's on the right. So the rule of thumb is we always distribute what is in front. So 7 times x is 7x. 7 times -3 is -21. Okay, now I'm going to do the second set. Positive 4 times 5 is positive 20. Positive 4 times a positive 2x is a positive 8x equals -31. After we have done that, then what we need to do is we need to combine like terms. So I look for x's first in my problem on the left. 7x plus 8x. Since they're on the same side, we don't do the opposite operation. So I get 15x. And now I do my constants. -21 plus 20 is -1 equals a -31. Okay, now this is just a 2-step equation. I add 2 to both sides. 2, wait, that's not right. I'm not adding 2, nor do I know where I got the 2 from. I'm adding 1 to both sides. So I add 1 to the left, I add 1 to the right. I get 15x equals -30. Then I divide both sides by 15. See, I was thinking ahead. That was what I was doing. And I get x equals, those cancel out, -30 divided by 15 is my -2. And there's my answer. So we combine like terms on the left after we distributed. So one more problem and then we're done. So this is example 3. I'm going to combine and distribute on both sides. So the left side of my problem, I find any distributing and I go ahead and distribute. Now the 4x is just separate, so it just comes down. 4x plus 8 times x is 8x, and 8 times 9.
Need to let you know that the 3-story building and the commons restrooms are available. Just the 3-story building and the commons. No other restrooms are available.
We had a little flooding problem. We're better now. Let's get back to the math. 8 times 9 is 72. Equals -3 times 2, which is -6x. -3 times 5 is -15. And I add 1. Now what I do is I combine my like terms on the left. I get 12x plus 72 equals -6x. And then -15 plus 1 is -14. Okay, now I move my x's to be together, so I add 6x, I add 6x, I get 18x plus 72 equals -14. I subtract 72 from both sides, from the left and from the right. I get 18x equals -86, and now I got to divide. Now this isn't going to go in there evenly, so I'm going to do my little work off the left here. Let's see, 86 divided by 18. Well, 18 times 2 is 36, so 18 times 4 is 72. So let's try 4. Subtract. I get 14 left over, which is good, so I have 4 remainder 14, which is 4 and 14 eighteenths. But 14 and 18 are both divisible by 2, so I divide 14 and 18 by 2, and my answer is x equals 4 and 7. Nice. There's my answer. Not all answers come out pretty. Remember, we divide by 18 when we get done. Oh, I had a negative divided by a positive, so that should be a negative 4 7/9 as well. I hope this comes in handy. I hope you took notes over this. At the conclusion of this, we have a worksheet that we're doing. So let's get started.